morning, good afternoon, good night, whatever time it is when you're picking up this wonderful expression of joy and love. It's Women's History Month. I get a chance to talk about, my favorite gender. I'm so impressed with women, mainly because, my mother. Wouldn't be here without her. My first experience with women was with my mother. And she set up a real wonderful relationship building. I mean, I just love women. I think women are a inspiration. They are. Some people say they're the other half of men, which it makes a lot of sense, but not always appreciated in our society. Often regulated to walking behind and things of that sort. But those of us who appreciate women, I don't think we see it that way. I think women are in charge even when they're pretending not to be. But then again, maybe the choice of mother sets you up for the choice of women that you'll be around for the rest of your life. Maybe there's a magnet attached to your toe when you're born, and you keep attracting to those same kind of women. But in my case, I'm happy because my mother's a wonderful woman, and so have been the women in my life. You can tell if you've been around Empire Talks Back for the last 20 years. We've had wonderful help, wonderful support, wonderful leadership from the women that have worked with us. We're going to go back and thank Lita Pazant. We have to definitely thank her for helping us get started on Empire Talks Back and being the intellectual challenge and whip to keep me in order. That's not always easy to do. She did a great job of it, and we wish her well and thank her for every moment that she spent on Empire Talks Back. Then there's, of course, Miss Rena. Miss Rena has graduated, gone on to college, completed college, and doing wonderful things. And, of course, we've got Miss Tammy Martin riling things up for us these days. So we're appreciating the support here on the radio station. We are also, more than that, appreciating you out there. And then if you've got a woman in your past, in your recent or long history that you'd like to give us a call and say hello to or make a salute, this month will be the month that we are going to allow and look forward to that to happen. The number here is 909-792-5222. 909-792-5222. And if you have a woman in your life or in your history book that you'd like to share some information about, we welcome you doing that. We are shortly going to give us a chance to speak to the first woman in my life, my mother Ruth Stevens, as a matter of fact. I believe she's on the line now. Is that? Oh, no, that's not her. Oh, okay. Well, Mom's busy. She may not. She may be trying to fix me something to eat. I am going to go see her later today, but we're going out to dinner. She's not slaving over a stove for me. There have been some issues this week, some news, some things that have quieted down because they've been covered up by some other things. But, whatever it is out there that's going on, one of the main things we've got to remember is that we are not victims unless we decide not to do something about whatever it is going on that we are not overly enthused about. That could be any number of things as we listen to the real news, the fake news, the Facebook news. This week was my birthday. I've had to force myself to work with Facebook on that because so many of my friends have done so, and I'll be thanking all of you wonderful people who wish me happy birthday individually. It looks like it might take me the next year to complete the list, but I'll yeah. So if you sent me a Facebook greeting, I appreciate it, and I'm going to get back to you. I really kind of wet-eyed listening to some of the comments and seeing some people whose names I haven't seen in years stack up and do that. But this is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen. We'll come back shortly. We're going to get involved in more and more salutations about Women's History Month. We'll name a few. Give us a call. 925-222. Let's talk about the women in your life.
Publish your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131. I never planned on losing my job, but we all know life can change in an instant. And losing my family's health insurance was an even tougher pill to swallow. So I looked into Cobra, but too pricey. Then I found out I could enroll through Covered California, where I was able to choose from good health insurance companies I've actually heard of. I even got help paying for it.
There's a limited time to qualify after losing your insurance, so check out CoveredCA.com today. Covered California. It's more than just health care. It's life care.
We are back. This is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen, on the case for truth and justice with the right information to help improve the situation. Hi, we're talking about my mama today. We're going to talk about a couple of things today. Tammy Martin Riles will be in here shortly. We want to invite you to a jazz concert on March 29th, San Bernardino Valley College. It's a Friday night. The entertainment will be supplied by a jazz saxophonist by the name of Panther. We're going to have some music for you to let you hear some of the stuff that Panther does a little bit later on. And we're going to speak to my mother right now. That's going to be great. All right, let's put her on. Ruth.
Yes.
I'm going to call her Granny Goose because that's what my children call her. Granny Goose, how you doing this morning?
Well, I'm great this morning, son. How are you?
God is great, and I'm extremely grateful as usual. I just expressed to everyone that the first woman in my life was you. Hang on. I think we need that door. Tammy's here if you could do that. Yeah, the first woman in my life was you, and
yes.
You set a standard that has been not always kept, but one that certainly I've always leaned on ultimately, and I think that I've had some very exciting and wonderful females in my life as a result of the standard you've set as friends, cousins, aunts, uncles, and man, I am blessed to have what I think is the most wonderful woman in the world for a wife, Miss Josephine. And so, you set that example for me.
Thank you.
Your mother was the other great woman in my life. I think about her all the time, my grandmother Ruby. Matter of fact, we have a picture of her we're going to bring to you when we come and see you later today. But Mom,
yes.
The thing I wanted to bring to our attention today during Women's History Month, I think all of us tend to love our mother. And so I'm glad people are going to think about their mother during Women's History Month. But my mother has done some special things, not just for me, but I think for the planet and for the course of making history better. One of those things, since I find myself here in the radio business in this year and age and time, I have to salute you because you're the first person that I ever shook hands with, kissed on the cheek or anything that was in the radio business.
Yeah, thank you.
That's right. And I remember as a child, there were several things going on in my life. One of them was important was that my daddy worked for himself and my mama worked for herself. And in doing that, you tended to be working for other people. Daddy always made it possible for other young men coming from Mississippi to have a job. It was one of the things he pushed on. I've always been impressed with that. But the other thing is that you had a record store and a radio show that supported the record store long before many of us were thinking about how, to set something up and promote it and make it work. Would you tell us a little bit about the Blue Rendezvous, please?
I certainly will. Happy to. I always say, that God chooses some of us as public display, and he does this for his awesome power so that others beside us can be seen publicly and do things for the commonness of for mankind. So being chosen as a disc jockey, being a woman, and listening to the talk all the time that there were no black men qualified. So I decided, that God decided for me.
When you say that, you're saying that was the consideration, not that it was a true statement.
Oh no, it was it was segregation, and it was thought of at WJOL, the Joliet station at that time, that black men were not qualified. No, it was not a fact. So the thing was that they wanted to have a disc jockey, so they said. So I just know, as usual, in prayer, God does display his talent in an awesome way that everyone can see it, so that this is known then as a lie. So I was chosen. It was no problem with me when I went in and questioned them about it. They said, well, you can become a disc jockey if you will get out into the public and pay for it yourself. You cannot have it at the station, and you have to pay so much for it. So I said, fine, no problem. So then I go out and set up my station and a record shop combination called My Blue Rendezvous. And then I go out to the public, blacks, of course, restaurants, nightclubs, service stations, and they all purchased time from me. Then there was another white guy. There's always another human being that will help you regardless. And this was a beer company, one of the biggest, and bought time from me. So here I go. I'm selling time. I'm playing records. I'm doing things I've never done before. That's why I say God is awesome.
Now, you had a record shop.
A record shop. Selling records. Having my Blue Rendezvous. Just like what you're doing now.
No, you were doing better than I am.
On Sunday morning, one morning a week. I was doing mine on Saturday. Mm-hmm. They were standing in the door. People were all around me. They were just so excited.
And you did the show from the record shop, right?
I did the show from the record shop because they didn't allow me to do it from the station. It was called and I named it My Blue Rendezvous.
Mm-hmm. I think that model stuck in other places and turned out very well for other people operating out of their record shop.
Yes.
Yes, it's a great thing.
And I'm considered the first and only black, at that time, woman with as a disc jockey in the state of Illinois.
Did they have any white women in Joliet at WJOL at that time?
No, they were all men.
Yeah, so you actually broke that
barrier,
that entire barrier.
Right.
And this is not the only thing that you were first in doing. And I say this, one of the things that I saw you attempt to do, as you were the first in most things, was to pull someone in next to you or behind you as quick as possible.
Oh, yes.
You also worked for the city of Joliet.
Of course, I did as a secretary for the city of Joliet, along with the other things. But once they got a man for they were so impressed with my ability to sell. Of course, money rules. My ability to sell. They took over my show and gave it to a man at the station, a black man, and that's what I was trying to achieve. So then it came the time to find another job, and that was with the city of Joliet, Illinois, and they also the same game again. So I applied myself, and I have to give credit to another black woman who had a degree, and I did not have a degree. And they chose me as the first employee for the city of Joliet as a secretary in the engineering department, and I could type 40 words a minute, and she could type maybe 60 or 70. But I was the chosen one. I made the grade, did very well, and stayed there for 2 years until I wanted to quit. And they hired her then. So that is a story in itself.
It sure is.
Yeah.
And to flip forward some more years, you arrived in California and found work with an airline.
Oh yeah, they were. When I arrived in California, they were doing the same thing, and I was not. I was a bit tired. I said I didn't want to do it really, but I was with a urban league. I met God places you where you're supposed to be. So the first people I met in the state of California when I came here was the people of the urban league, wonderful people, and they were looking for people to work for the airline. And I said, no, I'm not interested. So they said, oh, please, Ruth, do this for us. So then I went out and they took the test. And I took the test for TWA, United, and Western. I was accepted at all three. But I chose Trans World Airlines, TWA, because it was an international carrier. So I was the second black woman there. And the first one, her husband was working for the government at the time, trying to break the barrier. So his wife was there, Millie Miller, and then Millie Miller and I were there. And after that, others came the next year. They began to bring others into the job factor there.
Anyone listening to your voice and the strength of it and the tenor of it would have a problem guessing your age. And so we're not going to play guess your age here. How old are you?
I am 92, and I shall be 93 the 14th day of August. And if you're going to have a party for me, I would be happy to accept presents.
You people,
that's where you get your...
People who heard that phrasing, you see where I get it from, right?
Well, I should say to the public, he is much like his mother and loving to write and all of that. You were writing when you were about 3, your stories. You would not go to work with your father because he was a bricklayer and had a business and all of that.
I'll tell you, boy, there was so much joy when I finally figured out how to not go to work with him. Because, my daddy, he was a bricklayer, and it didn't matter to him about the weather. He was taking care of his family. He was going to feed everybody. And he did a great job of that. And
he was a master at it. He was a master.
Demonstrated that discipline to me and let me realize that, you can do this or there's other things to do, but you shall never be without the ability to take care of yourself, because I know that you can make mortar and that you can lay a brick. And I said, I will hopefully never have to do that. But now, at this stage in my life, I realize how valuable, how valuable being able to build and develop and how that is the root of our economic movement. And so I have to admit, I'm very involved and interested in development, not so much the labor myself, but the idea of the development, and more importantly, the idea of putting other people with opportunity to work. That's great.
Yeah, and didn't get any help he didn't get any help from me, I have to say, because I thought you had better things coming than doing brick. I would take up for you.
I saw the delight that he had when he came home and dinner was ready and family was loving and waiting for him. So the contributions are sometimes not out front. They become like the sidewalk or the highway that we roll on, the infrastructure that we absolutely have so much faith in that we ignore it. We have no appreciation for it because it's there all the time. And, Mom, you've been there all the time, and I appreciate that. And this is not Mother's Day. This is History Day. And
right.
That's the history. This is something that you're not the only woman who has stepped forward. Now, who in your life as an inspiration, a woman inspiration that has pushed you to aspire?
Oh, my God, who can I say other than my mother? There's none like her. You know, it's hard not to cry when I think about her and the difference, the same dreams that we had and things we could do, and how different the times were during my mother's day. And she had 7 sons, and 6 of them went to war. And they all, for the United States of America. And I think about that, how when the first 3 were in World War II, she had no telephone, and they only had party lines. And the white women were on the party lines. And so she had to walk like 3-4 miles to their house to say hello to her son fighting for the flag, as we're talking about the flag now, which is a big subject. And she would walk. So it was so hard on her. Then we petitioned the President Truman, and we asked him, we told him our story, and said, my mother must have a telephone. How can she have sons fighting for the cause? And she's the only woman in the area. We own land just like they own. We probably own more. And she could not have a telephone. They said, okay, she can have a telephone, but they charged us $350. I'll never forget.
And that was in 1951, 52?
Right, in 51.
$300 there? That's amazing.
$50 there. That was money.
Yeah, it can't
but they gave her
$50.
And so she had a private phone, so God is good. She had a private phone. I was the only woman in the neighborhood and around who had a private phone, and only woman on that line. And then she goes on to have 3 more sons to fight in Korea, Vietnam. And then we have someone who would bend their knees, and they ask them, as though it's such a disgrace. And I say, where was the flag then? Where was the flag? And, my brother. I had a brother. I lost a brother the 20th of December whose feet were frozen in Germany. Came back with frozen feet because he was the one who took up, would go where they were all killed and get their goods that were left behind, their wallets and such. So this white soldier took him there and said to him, Warren, his name was Warren Gamaliel, said, Warren, I'll be back to pick you up. He didn't come back and pick Warren up. He left him there, and he had to walk back to the base, and his feet were frozen. He died from that at the age of 95.
Well, he still had that condition.
Of December this year.
Yeah, he still had that condition.
Oh, yes.
Yes, but he lived a very fruitful and aggressive and fulfilling life despite that injury.
Yeah.
One of the greatest storytellers of all time, my favorite uncle. He lived down the street from us when we were in Joliet, Illinois, and he was a treat. He used to take me to the auto races and things of that sort and tell me stories that had no ending.
Yeah.
Tell me stories that showed me possibilities, not necessarily limiting me to the facts of the planet or the facts of life at that time, but with the possibilities that your imagination puts in front of you and the reality that can come from those visualizations. Yes, you have a unique situation with your family. We just lost your one brother, but tell us the basic ages of your brothers and sisters now.
My oldest sister, Gladys, is 98. So they're also old. My brother, Ruben and I, he's 94 now. And then my sister, I should have had them out here. Good gracious, remember that. But let's just say, Henry is the youngest.
You got it, Gladys. We're going to take a break and come back. This is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen. We've been talking with my mother, Ruth Stevens. She's a joy, the joy of my life, and If I let her keep talking, she'll be the joy of your life, and that's something that I do intend to do. We'll be back right after this break, talk a little bit more to my mother, get some history from her. And if you got someone that you'd like to celebrate during this Women's History Month, give us a call, 909-792-5222. We'll be right back.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, K292 FQ Riverside, and K293 CF Moreno Valley.
Publish your legal notice in Westside Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. Westside Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call Westside Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
Covered California knows that one moment can change your life. That moment you say I do. That moment you meet your baby for the first time. Or even that moment you lose your job and your health insurance along with it. For those times when life changes, we've got you covered. Covered California lets you choose from brand name health plans, and you may even get help paying for it. Your enrollment period is limited, so find out if you qualify by getting free expert help at coveredca.com today. Covered California. It's more than just health care. It's life care.
That's your mama. Your mother. Shut up.
Goosey,
Yes.
Granny Goose. This is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen, speaking to my mother, better known to her grandchildren as Granny Goose.
Yes.
Granny Goose, guess what has occurred during the break?
What?
Our engineer, Mr. Rick Rule, has jumped on the internet and went to Wikipedia and found that you are listed as an alumni at WJOL. Tammy Martin Riles, who's here to rile things up, is going to read the entry in Wikipedia.
Well, I'm surprised. Thank you.
Yes, when it says,
Push that back that way a little bit.
push what back?
The speakers, the
that
info,
back?
yeah, so they
Okay.
don't. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
It says notable radio personalities that have worked at WJOL includes Frank O'Leary, Don Ladas, Ben Drilling, Art Hellier, Bob Zach, Don Bino, Tony Ray, Ray Sherman, Senior, Jerry Halas, Matt Carey, Bob Wheeler, and Ruth Stevens,
The only woman.
who did a radio show for her record shop and was the first black woman on the station.
Well, I
There we
told
go.
you I was famous, Wallace James Allen.
Well, I thought it was just because of that wonderful chili you cooked me every Thursday when I was growing up.
Well, you know, I have a write-up that Ruth Stevens, a woman committed to change, always yearning to make life better for community and country, that one day you may want to just read.
Well, we're really proud of knowing you. I'm super proud of the fact that you were my first resting and nourishing place, and I've tried to be. I've really tried because of you and Dad to be a good person. I somehow have. I've tried. I don't know exactly what it is you guys said and did, but I've never felt alone or unwatched, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
So based on that, I've kind of. Well, not kind of. I'm. There's some things that I wouldn't want to spread out all on the table in front of everybody. But if they did get spread out,
There's some things I want to know, because this is your mama, right?
This is my mama.
Okay, can I ask some questions?
I don't know,
'cause-
Tammy.
Yes,
Go
I
ahead.
want to ask some questions. Now, was Wallace the child that you had to do a snatch back on? Was he like, did you have to tell him, Wallace, 2 or 3 times, or did you tell him once and he got it done?
I could tell, well, Wally, truthfully, seemed always almost as old as I. But he would listen to me, and I never had to really tell him anything. He ran away.
He ran away?
Yes, I'll tell that because I know that is
Okay, yeah, tell me that story. Yes.
He wasn't practicing his music at school. He was playing the trumpet, and he wasn't rehearsing, and they
I got
let me
kicked
know.
out of band.
Let her tell a story. Stop, Wallace.
And
Go
then
ahead.
he said he was going to run away. So he got as far as the railroad track, and I think he thought about it and thought he'd better come back home. He didn't have that kind of courage. But that was one of the funniest things because we allowed him to do it. We said, let him go. Let's see how far he's going.
Oh.
And he went. The railroad track was about, 3 blocks from us. And he got
was
as
about
far
How
as
old was he?
It was about 6 blocks.
Wait, how old was he?
He was in high school.
No.
No, you weren't. No, he was in grade school.
I was in grade school. I was in the band. I was in elementary school.
Right.
And I was in band, and one day, I guess the instructor got mad because I hadn't been practicing, and he kicked me out of band. But I didn't tell my mother or my father. Mm-hmm. And the thing was...
What was you doing during that time?
Standing outside.
Okay.
Okay. But my mother and the other band mothers took turns driving us to band.
Uh-oh.
So the other thing about me being kicked out was that Mom was drove me to band at least twice.
And you wasn't
in
going
the
to band?
rotation, and I wasn't there.
Lord.
Well, I came home from school one day, and she informed me that, oh, you didn't tell me you're going to have a band recital. Why you didn't tell me? And I said, oh, my goodness. I didn't even know we were having a recital. So she said, and when she told me that, I kind of froze up, and, then the future came to me really quick. And I think I started crying, and she said, what? And I told her, I said, she says, oh, I'm going to tell your dad. Oh, my Lord. I said, I'm getting up out of here.
Because you're going to be in trouble for lying. But how long do you keep that lie up? Wait. Let me say this, Wallace. Facebook, let me get y'all caught up. We are talking to Wallace Allen's mother, Mrs. Ruth Stevens, and the famous Ruth Stevens. You can find her on the internet. Just go ahead and check her out on Wikipedia. But and I'm talking to Wallace because I'm getting all of the story from, all of the stuff that you want to hear about Wallace. Y'all might want to call in, but Wallace is explaining when he got in trouble and tried to run away. So I'm just restating that so y'all can hear that. So go ahead and finish, Wallace.
So the fact that Mom was informed of a coming band recital, a band that I had been kicked out of, not notified my parents about the kicking out. Mm-hmm. So when I told her, she was sad. She always has been able to grab a tear from somewhere and tell me how disappointed it made her feel, and that would just tear me up. If I would rather she would go get a tree and tear it down and beat me in the head with the tree than to see her cry.
She cried?
Oh, man, she'll cry.
Did y'all hear that Facebook? Wallace made his mama cry.
Mom, cry for him.
I'm not. But I can't. I learned early that was things that was sometimes would work. You have to have to work with children. And I wasn't a woman who wanted to beat my children at that time. Folks beat their children.
She made me love her so much that watching her cry was something that was it'd be like jumping off a cliff.
Oh my God! I need to meet your mom. She sounds like the most awesome person in the world.
Master manipulator, master.
Well,
really?
Let me say this.
I wonder
because it means so much to me. Of all the things I've heard about Wally, a woman, and I'm not going to call her name, wrote me the loveliest letter. And she said to me, Ruth, if you could be the mother of all black men, because Wally is the most wonderful man, a human being, love of family. She named these wonderful things that I have ever met, and thank you. I have kept the letter. I thought I couldn't have gotten a better compliment.
See, you guys listen to my mother now, because she's telling you the truth about me. She's digging really deep to tell you what a wonderful person I am, and how nice and humble that I am, and
Well, we don't. Well, Mrs. Stevens, we don't doubt that and everything. But the thing is, we always like to get, the end game on Wallace, because we know
Right.
behind every wonderful person, they had to, go. They had to be initiated. You understand what I'm saying? They had to go through the fire. And so, just finding out that Wallace ran away. It's just a nugget that I needed to know. You know what I'm saying?
Now,
Yes,
the other
I
thing,
follow
too.
you. I understand.
Now, we were speaking about your brother, Uncle T, that lived down the street. When I ran away, my first retreat from running away, I didn't come all the way home. I stopped at Uncle T's house and Aunt Chris's house because they were always on my side. And they were the liaison to get me back up to the house and accept whatever punishment there was going to be for me.
They was on your side for lying about the trumpet?
They were on my side. That's what Aunt Chris and Uncle T were about, being on my side.
My mother, let me tell you, my mother had 7 sons. And when Wally was born, you would have thought she forgot all her sons. I couldn't believe it. Anytime a woman had that many of her own. She wanted to carry him home from the hospital that day. She felt absolutely crazy in love with this boy.
My
And
youngest
not
aunt,
only her, all my brothers. So he was a boy's child for sure. They wanted to take him, and it wasn't too long before my father had him, taking him home, and had him in school at 3 years old with his brother Henry, and telling me I needed to give him, 50 cents a week for, so he would have money at school.
this is almost embarrassing, but my youngest aunt and uncle, they'll tell me now, they'll say, Butch, we hated you.
They spoiled him.
But they've never demonstrated anything but love to me, as far as I could see. I remember coming home to tell my grandmother that I had learned to swim. We had gone to the rock quarry. We have a rock quarry on the family property there, and she said, "What?" I said, "Yeah, they threw me in and I swam by myself." She said, "Them biggins were trying to drown you." They weren't really, but they did teach me how to swim. They taught me a lot of things, and I love each and every one of them like they were my own brother and sister. The concept of family love has always been extremely strong and exhibited in both my mother and father's family, and I'm hoping that I'm extending that attitude to the fullest. I'm proud of my family, my children, my grandbabies, and I have a great-grandchild. We're going to talk about that one of these days soon. I'll have him call. But, Mom, I just want to thank you. We're going to have to move along a little bit here and try to deal with some of the other obligations we've got. Thank you for spending this time with me. I will see you later today. And once again, thank you for all the
Looking
great
forward,
things.
and thank you, and thank the young lady who spoke.
No, that's not a young lady. That's Tammy Martin Riles.
Tammy Riles.
Yes, ma'am.
But Tammy, it's been wonderful speaking with you. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. It's been awesome for me.
Yes. So
and Miss
about it.
Ruth.
Yes.
Tammy Martin.
Tammy Martin.
Your last name is Martin. They're
Yes,
from
now Tammy may be
Louisiana.
into me.
But my family's from Mississippi. The Martins are from Mississippi.
Yeah, so
Yes,
she
we
may
are.
be your cousin and something like that. You know how that is.
Tammy, I need to know who you are then, because honestly, we're most of the Martins there.
Yes, I told Wallace this before.
We've had you talk to her mother before, so we're coming close.
Okay.
Okay, love you, baby. This is Empire
Okay.
Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen, the son of Ruth Stevens.
Bye.
And we'll be back right after this break. Thank you so much.
Publish your legal notice in Westside Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. Westside Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call Westside Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131. I never planned on losing my job, but we all know life can change in an instant. And losing my family's health insurance was an even tougher pill to swallow. So I looked into Cobra, but too pricey. Then I found out I could enroll through Covered California, where I was able to choose from good health insurance companies I've actually heard of. I even got help paying for it.
There's a limited time to qualify after losing your insurance, so check out CoveredCA.com today. Covered California. It's more than just healthcare. It's life care.
All right, this is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen. We just had the pleasure of speaking to my mother, Ruth Stevens, who was the first female disc jockey on WJOL radio station back in Joliet, Illinois. First woman, white, black, green, purple, or otherwise, on that program. And she operated from her record shop, the Blue Rendezvous, played jazz and blues, and I remember it well. It was exciting to have a celebrity for a mom.
But your mama had a record shop.
A record shop. They had cleaners. Oh, they did stuff.
They were entrepreneurs.
They were entrepreneurs.
That's what I'm talking about. Y'all hear that?
Yep.
Now I know why Wallace got all his craziness from. And when I mean craziness, this is a good thing. Like, he all over the place. He can't help it.
If you're not crazy, that means you're eating the Kool-Aid.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
because people say I'm crazy.
Else.
Don't let me go back and tell you about where I came from. But
this is where, okay, we're talking about Women's History. This is Women's History Month. To be crazy suggests that you're simply not within the norm. And if the norm is a situation that likes to hold you down, keep you from progressing, deny you education, deny you access, deny you expression, you would be crazy to allow that to keep on going.
I know.
And so it's often that, once again, like infrastructure, where we use highways, where we use these things that we take so much for granted that we don't analyze or look at them, or definitely don't give them appreciation. We call them potholes in the street. There's not potholes in the street. Those are complaints that you did not make. Those are meetings that you did not go to let your city council person know what they were supposed to do.
Stop it, Wallace.
This is not a pothole. This is a symbol of your lack of commitment and participation in your community. Wait a minute. That's not litter on the street. That's your lack of participation. You know, my children are no longer in the house. I cannot walk by a little something on the floor and go grab a child and say, pick this up. You know, that's what grown folk do. I remember going back in history, back in the days when my father was a smoker and all this. I can remember there would be times I would be out in the yard playing, and my Virgo daddy would call me, hey, buddy. I'd stop playing ball, whatever. Come in the house, and he'd say, hand me that ashtray over there. You don't get it. Anyway, I'm at the point now where
I know, like he been in the house.
No, it's his ashtray. It's and it's 3 steps away.
I know. And he been in the house next to it, and then he wait for you to come in.
No, he didn't wait for me.
He called you from outside to go get it.
And so so every now and then when I let the dog in the house, looking on him, I go, because I want to know where he is. And I think that's what Dad was doing. He said, come here, buddy, so I know where you are, what you're doing. My point, that as I walk through my house now, if I see something that's out of place, I cannot call my children. I surely will not bother my wife. Ooh. Okay? You got to pick it up yourself. This is what I'm telling you. When you see something out of place,
because I would like to see you call Josephine. Lord help me. Wallace got a little hair on his head, but he might.
I'm not ashamed to say, you get a good partner, you hang in there. Okay, you do what you need to do, and if, in my case, it may be picking up something that I dropped, and ain't nobody running behind me to pick stuff up behind me. That could be a disappointment. Sometimes we get so full in places where people respect you and give you all of this adulation, and you kind of walk around thinking listen, pick up the trash when you see it. if you see a pothole, if you haven't called, you know, they have a special number in not just the city of San Bernardino, all over. They have a special number that when you see a pothole, you can call and tell them where the pothole
We
is.
sure got our potholes fixed on our street.
What I'm trying to tell you is we can get caught up in the national news. We can get disappointed by the teams that we are betting on. But that does not take away the responsibility for creating your happiness, for creating your joy, for creating your route to success. You cannot blame, well, the Lakers lost, so I don't want to go to work today. Oh, Mr. Trump told a story that I didn't believe, and so I just don't know what to do. Come on, people.
Well, Wallace, I think it comes down to we always like to point out what the issues are, but, you know, it's doers and it's action that is needed. And the hard part is that energy, producing that energy to go and do it. And that's where, you know, we find out, you know, where the energy is.
Crazy. You got to be, you have to be crazy.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at women and the contributions that women have made and have had to make because of the dispersion and disparities in society. Who's your favorite woman in history?
Well, she's still alive, so I would have to say, because history is past, so it's not always.
Well, give me both of them, the one that isn't and the one that is.
Well, I'll say my one that I like is Oprah. Oprah's one of my favorite.
Very good.
Yeah, and let me tell you why Oprah is one of my favorite. Oprah, because everybody thinks that Oprah, you know, just Oprah, when you look at her life and you actually read about her, if you were to predict where her life would be based from her childhood, it would be nothing. Mm-hmm. And, you know, and I look at the fact that she knew in her heart that she was destined for something great. And she said that. And she says, I have to get moving on with my life. And she kept moving on and doing things that she wasn't particularly interested in, but she goes, oh my God, well, it seems like an opportunity. And her biggest break came when she participated in a pageant because they thought it would be good for her.
Okay.
And she participated in this pageant and she actually got a radio gig out of it.
Really?
And a reading part. That was her start.
Amazing.
Because they saw her speak. Yeah, they saw her speak on stage. And somebody said, oh my God, that voice, have her come down. And that was, she said,
she got discovered.
She got discovered from a pageant that she wasn't particularly interested in.
What type of, I just wanted to.
It was a beauty pageant. Yeah, but you understand. But I hear how women put that down, and I hear how they say, "Who wants it? That's degrading."
Well, it's because of the way men put it up.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's go back to the Miss America pageant.
Yes.
Kind of, you know, it's to show ourselves off is a good thing.
Yes.
And at that point, you know, sexism says, well, the only thing a woman can show off is her body, and maybe sing a song, and that was totally wrong. And not only was it totally wrong to place it like that, history had already demonstrated women's greatness. Yeah,
but see, Oprah used that as a stepping stone. I mean, you know, so we can sit back and we complain about that. And, you know, that is a double-edged sword to me, because it's one thing when we claim, just be careful, hear me out first, when we claim sexist, that, you know, that this is a sexist thing, but then I turn around and I watch women use their sexism to take advantage of certain situations. So I sit back and I said,
in case you didn't hear it, Rick said,
yes. So, and this is not degrading, this is not stepping on any women's toes or anything like that, but I've seen it play out. We can't use the word on both ends. You know, you understand what I'm saying?
I do,
you know, like, let me go over here and get my rent paid. You know, next thing you know, I'm getting ready to get a ticket. I hear the blouse becoming unbuttoned.
Let my little short, ugly self go pay the rent for that big, tall, fine woman, and maybe she'll fix me something.
But I'm talking real talk.
I'm talking real talk, too.
Yeah.
So on the street, they used to say, I don't know if I should use it like this, but they say, ain't no pimps if there wasn't no hoes. Yeah. Okay? So we tend... we tend to fill in the gaps for each other.
Yes.
And in the world of astrology,
Yes.
we call it complementing and supplementing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I mean, there's certain angles that create trines. Trines are beneficial.
Yeah.
When that's symbols of contact. Differences create opportunity.
Yes.
Sameness, okay. People say, I got your back. All right. Now, if I got your back means I'm looking at your back from behind you, we really ain't got too much accomplished. We both looking at the same thing, except I'm blocking you from really seeing as much as you can see. And plus, you may got my back, but how you got my back if ain't nobody got your back?
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm as vulnerable as you are, but
Yes.
you telling me you got me covered. No, the way you got my back is if we looking at each other face to face.
Yes.
You looking at my back, I'm looking at your back, and we handling them things.
Yes.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
it's I don't know how you visualize things as you say them.
Yeah.
But to me, the words are really critical. They demonstrate what's going on subconsciously, and I think we follow our subconscious mind more so than our conscious mind. Otherwise, we wouldn't forget things. Otherwise, we would not get distracted. Otherwise, every day would be, 110 instead of, maybe 45 or 60% of what you had intended to do when you started that day. So once again, I go back. History proves to us that the doers, that accomplishment and movement is made by the doers, the people who believe themselves, believe
Yes.
in themselves, and who are crazy enough, crazy enough to go against the norm, because
There you
the
go.
norm, once again, is what's
It's the
possibly
less
holding
road.
you down.
It's the road less traveled, and it's the ridiculed road. It's the road that gets poked at because you're different, So, and everybody wants to travel the road of many because it's comfortable and it's easy.
Before I get away, I want
Yes.
to talk about one more thing that's
Spa,
different.
Spectrum.
Spectrum Spa.
Yes.
She's crazy enough to be open 7 days a week.
Yes, she is.
She's crazy enough to have a deal that gives people 10% off on anything $20 or above.
Yes.
She's crazy enough to have not only her shop open, she's got people working there.
Yes.
Okay, so from 10 o'clock.
I don't forget what time,
No, 10
but I done
10
been a few times.
10 o'clock on Sunday.
Yes.
She's open on Sunday. That's
Maybe I
Spectrum
should go
Spa to
today.
get your nails done.
Feet.
Tammy brags about getting her feet
Oh
done.
my
and all that.
God, she hooked her sister up.
And they're freeway close. They're right off
Yes.
the 210 at Archibald,
Archibald.
1 block south of Archibald on 19th Street, or to the Stater Brothers
Yes,
Center.
shopping
You'll
center,
actually get there
yes.
first. But tell Holly we said hello,
Hi, Holly.
and do something nice for your feet and hands. And if you really want, she doesn't want us to talk about this part.
They do
because
eyebrows, they do everything.
They're really so busy and good at doing the massage. She says, we don't need to promote the massage. So I'm telling you, it's like,
You will go to sleep.
yeah, you want to get the massage.
I literally saw a lady.
Don't tell her I told you the
Look.
massage, because, she gets upset with all that good business about the
Yeah.
massage. But
I saw a lady getting her hands done, and she was asleep. And I'm thinking, wow. They was putting me to sleep with massaging my legs and everything when they was doing my pedicure. I said, shoot. But Wallace, we got 2 minutes left.
no, Tammy, they're very good. So thanks for. But you were telling us now about the other black woman or other woman in history that you were appreciating.
Oh my God. I would. Ooh. Let's
Gotta
stay
wait.
tuned for
You
next
know
Sunday.
What? It's Women's History Month all month
Next
long.
Sunday.
All month long.
Yes.
I have had a great day.
Yes,
I'm
you
going to
do.
have an extension of my
Happy
birthday.
birthday.
Yeah, my birthday. This is my birthday weekend. My mother has a birthday month. I'm not quite there yet, but I am taking 4 days worth of birthday. We've been celebrating since Friday. And thank you very much. Thank you for all these Facebook. I don't know how to get back to everybody. You're going to have to show me how to holler back.
Holler
Love you
back.
guys. All right. Had a great week. See you next month. Next week under 2 circumstances. 1, good Lord willing. 2, the creek don't rise. God bless you. Thank you very much. See you guys on the 29th of March at Valley College. Jazz concert. We'll be playing some of Panther's music for you next week. You'll like it. I bet you. Oh, and the Mood Master will be playing also. See you next week.
If you've ever